Today's episode of Voiced is from r/Taifu and is about users sharing their cringeworthy mistakes, one involving a Bumble date gone hilariously wrong in the Philippines, and another about an innocent encounter with a little girl. What unexpected twists will unfold in these tales? Subscribe if you enjoy. A few weeks ago, I went to the Philippines with my family and decided, forget it, let me download Bumble. So I match with this girl there and meet up with her. Originally, she wanted to ask me to go partying sa Pobla. Party, club area, that's kind of like Tijuana? I don't know, that's the closest resemblance I can think of. Not much of a clubber. And my cousins told me it's better to go to Pobla if I'm with a local or if I'm around people I know. So I tell her, no, it's okay, maybe we can hang out another time. So it's the next day, right? She messages me that she's too tired and lazy to drink and asks if I'm down for dinner and to hang out. I'm like, sure. She's from my hometown, and it's kind of far from Bonifacio Global City, the city where I'm staying, especially if there's traffic. So she brings up the idea of eating at Korean barbecue, and I'm like, sure, why not? And then I say we can just find a spot here in Bonifacio Global City. So she asks if I can grab their version of Uber, her to Bonifacio Global City, and back home. And I'm like, sure, because why not? I'm being nice. And compared to the United States, Grab is cheap. So when she finally gets here, we go to the place and see that there's a long line, and we decide to see if other places are open, but they're not. And then she goes, do you want to just go to Pobla? We don't have to drink. There's food places there, and we can just hang out after. I'm kind of iffy on the idea, but I say sure, why not? So we grab there, and the whole ride, she is just on her phone texting, and I am just sitting there like... Anyways, we arrive to Pobla and decide to eat at Filling Station, an all-out American diner. But yeah, we get food, and as I am paying for our meal, she goes, actually, my friends are in Pobla right now. Do you want to hang out with them? And that really threw me off. And I was like, honestly, not really. I just wanted to hang out with you, and I'm not in the mood to drink or party. Then she goes, no, we don't have to. We can just go around, just come on. And before I can answer, she gets up and tells me to come on. And we're going down the stairs, and her friend calls her, and it's some random guy. And she introduces us, and we exit the diner. After, as we're walking around, they asks me what I want to do. And I'm like, I'm not really in the mood to drink or anything. And then they're like, come on, just party with us, it'll be fun. And I said, really, I'm not in the mood. Then as we keep walking, the girl asks me, what do you want to do then? And I kept saying that I just wanted to hang out with her, and I didn't want to party. She asked me this about 5 times, but she wasn't listening. And then she goes, well, do you just want to go home then? Because I'm going to go with my friends. And my stomach just sunk because I felt like I wasted my time. Then I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to just go home and call a Grab. Then she goes, okay, I'll wait with you. As I'm booking my Grab, she goes, wait, didn't you say you were going to pay for my ride back? And I looked at her and said, yeah, but that's when you said that we were going to hang out, so nah. Then when I say my Grab is here, she goes, come on, just give me 500 pesos then. And her friend step towards me, about to corner me. Here's a revised version of the censored paragraph that aims to preserve the original meaning and tone while still censoring profanity. And in my mind, I wanted to crash out and really stir things up. But also, I don't know these people and the area I'm in, and I don't want to be in some deep trouble over 500 pesos. So to me, 500 pesos isn't a lot. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just give it to her so she can leave me alone and I can just go back home. That Grab back home was the most defeated feeling ever. I've never felt so defeated in my entire life. As soon as I enter my Grab, she texts me, are you sure you don't want to come? We have more friends coming. I just reply with, no, I already said multiple times, I didn't want to drink. I hope you enjoyed your free food and free rides. Turns out, a mutual friend knows her, and she apparently has 2 boyfriends and does this to a lot of guys, especially foreigners, and she tries to get them to pay for her and her friends at the clubs. I meet a girl on Bumble. She tries to get me to party, but instead, she robs me of roughly $7. Wow, that first experience is a wild ride. It's amazing how a simple meetup can take such a confusing turn, especially when expectations clash in unexpected ways. You think you're just going out to enjoy some good food and company, and before you know it, you're caught in a sticky situation where you're being asked for money like it's part of the plan. Now, shifting gears from the dating scene, let's dive into a completely different kind of adventure, one that involves coaching and a simple act of kindness that spirals into a major misunderstanding. It's a stark reminder of how intentions can be misinterpreted, especially when kids are involved. Let's hear how the assistant coach navigates this delicate situation and what lessons he learns along the way. I've been working as an assistant coach on my son's Little League team. The team is 6 to 7-year-olds, 14 boys and 1 girl. I've never coached kids before, but I love baseball and kids always seem to like me, so it is working well. The coach is fantastic, and really we all seem to get along great. So the coach texted me and basically said, hey, make sure your volunteer paperwork is in order, and I recommend you go and submit for the background check. I want us to be completely above the board. This is standard in Little League sports, and so, no problem. Never been arrested. Everything is cool. I figured somebody complained, and I was racking my brain trying to figure out what I did wrong. The one little girl on this team is a big personality. She always tries to hug me, often in front of her mom, and I try not to hug her back. I've spoken with her mom about this, and she just says, oh yeah, she is a big hugger. She hugs everyone. I'm very friendly with her mom, and I do treat the girl a little different than the boys, less hands-on, etc. She goes to the same school as my son, who is popular. The other evening, we were playing a game, and it was very sunny and warm. The kids were playing hard and sweating. We were all together, dugout, and I brought a refillable water bottle for my son. I was compelling him to drink water, and the girl says, I'm really thirsty. Can I have some too? I tell her to go ask her mom for a water bottle, and she says, my mom is not here now. She is watching my brother's game. Okay, so I unscrew the sippy cap off and give it to her, and she takes a drink. A little while later, a different kid asks for a drink, and I say, sure, open your mouth and I'll pour you a sip, since I'm trying to not cross-contaminate with germs. The little boy is really thankful because the water is cold. Soon, a bunch of kids are asking for me to pour some water in their mouths, and I'm thinking, I'll bring in a big jug next game with paper Dixie cups, just like when I was a kid. Then the little girl comes up and asks for a drink. I try to hand it to her, and she says, no, pour it in my mouth like you do to the other kids. I said, okay, you are silly, but sure, and pour her a drink into her open mouth. Now, apparently some other mother saw this, felt that it was inappropriate, told her mother, and then both mothers went to the coach with their concerns. The coach spoke to me about it during the next game. He told me the complaint and immediately said to me, this is a no-win situation for you. Do you understand? I assume that means that I shouldn't say or do anything else about it. I was on cloud 9 coaching these kids, and it brought me crashing down to reality. It terrifies and baffles me that I could do something so innocent and be accused of something so horrible. So what am I going to do about it? They just made me an official assistant coach. Well, I am. Absolutely no physical contact with this girl. She tried to hug me last game, and I stopped her and said, sorry, I'm not allowed to. Later, she told me that she wanted to play catcher and asked me to help her get the gear on. I told her, go ask your mom if she wants you to play catcher. The mom said no, and then appeared in the dugout and said, I'll help her get the gear on. And she did. I will never be a coach again on any team with a little girl on it. I'm posting this here as a warning to others. Update, this is my first post, so I didn't know what to expect. So I spoke to my son's mother about this, and she gave me some good advice. She is highly trained with human resources protocols for dealing with school-aged children and accusations about abuse. She told me that indeed I did mess up. I should have never provided a child with a personal beverage without the parent's consent. I asked her what I should do going forward, and she told me to go no physical contact with all of the children, not to provide them with any food or drink or gum, and to limit my conversation with them to things about baseball. Good advice, and I'm going to take it. Don't pour a drink of water into a little girl's mouth, even if she asks you nicely to, because some moms think this is sexually inappropriate. Before I talk about today's posts, please consider subscribing for more intriguing stories. Now, let's dive into these wild typhus. First up, the Bumble date in the Philippines took a turn from potential romance to being cornered over 500 peso stock about a disappointing twist. It's shocking how quickly things can escalate when intentions aren't aligned. On the flip side, the assistant coach learned a hard lesson about boundaries after a seemingly innocent act turned into an uncomfortable situation. This reminds us of the fine line we walk when it comes to interaction, especially with kids. What do you think? Was the first guy too trusting, or was the second coach unfairly scrutinized? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Voiced. If you enjoy daily high-quality stories, please like and subscribe to show your support.